is that all four of these teams will be playing some of their younger players, giving them a shot, as obviously all four of these teams don't have a shot to win the Champions Division title anymore. So we'll be seeing some younger players.
We'll go through starting lineups in just a moment. Yanez goes short with his corner kick. Now plays it in the box, and it's headed over with Molina with the final touch to it. It'll be a goal kick. As you mentioned, changes for these teams. 6 changes to Atlanta United starting lineup. Vincent Florio in goal, right to left defensively. Francombe, Tony, George Campbell starting at left center back, returning a little bit of a black eye from last game, and Matt Rios at left back. Takuma Suzuki, the captain and holding midfield for Atlanta. The 2 attackers in front of him, Daniel Mangrove, number 7, and Keon Banks, number 55. And then the attacking front 3 for Atlanta. On the right side, Masawa Robbins. In the middle, Diego Lopez, 57, playing the center forward role, and Jordan Matthews out on the left wing. On the flip side, for this LA Galaxy team, Mauricio Cuevas at right back. Alongside him, Brian Hernandez. A last-minute change to this team, so Togo Nakamura comes in at left back, which slides over Kobe Hernandez Foster from left back, where he's playing all to left center back at number 16. The captain in the holding midfield 3 of Oscar Cervantes. In front of him, Saldana and Paulo. Right to left, up in the attack. We've already seen Nestor Molina get a touch at Eduardo Blancas at center forward. And then, Ben, the guy that you are very excited to see on the left side, number 7, Uli Yanez.
That's the guy that everybody watching this game should be looking out for. Of course, both these teams do have signed MLS players who appeared in this tournament. With George Bello at left back, he is on the bench as Tony Annan is giving another player a chance. And then Efra Alvarez played the first 2 games of this tournament before departing for Mexican youth national team camp. So Yanez is the guy you should be looking out for. Yanez just came back from under-20 camp with the U.S. He's playing well up there, so he's the guy that you should be looking out for. He's probably the next potential guy to be signed by the Galaxy.
He got 45 minutes in their first friendly against the France U21s. These players here, all born January 1st, 2001 or later, so at most you can be 17. A lot of the players out here on the field, 5 of them for the LA Galaxy, born in 2002, and then 1 at right back in Cuevas, who was born in 2003. But it shows you for Yanez, 17 years old, playing against France, U21, what type of level he's at. And then Tony Annan as well has put out almost all the 2002s in his team, except George Bello, who already is a professional contractor.
Yeah, George Bello is not your normal 2002, of course. He's already signed. He's going to be playing professional games with Atlanta United 2 this year, so he's not your typical 2 as some of these other players. But of course, Diego Lopez is the starter up top for Atlanta, is signed with Atlanta United 2 as well. So he'll be getting into USL.
Free kick coming here for the Galaxy. Left-footed service, played short. Molina's shot is locked. Now the Galaxy swinging it all the way around to defeat Nakamura. Cervantes drops it inside Yanez. Can't cut inside Suzuki. It'll go safely into the hands of Florio. Atlanta United started up the tournament with a penalty kick loss. All games here, 35 minutes. Halves, 70-minute games plus stoppage time. And then if they are tied at the end of that, they go directly to penalty kicks. You get 2 points for a PK win, 1 point for a loss of penalty kicks, and of course the standard 3 points for a victory. As Yanez is now in on the left side, curls his shot, foot saved by Florio, and now a chance to clear.
And that's something we've seen all tournament from this Atlanta United team. Suzuki at the DMX spot. Actually, the play before, he made a great play on Yanez to curb a potential opportunity. But that play, he gets beaten in the midfield by Saldano, and Saldano was able to find Yanez, who you probably bet to finish that one, but not able to get it past Florio, who's been one of the strong players, strong goalkeepers this tournament.
First chance for Yanez. He arrived here on Tuesday directly from Spain as that long shot curves wide and looks like we'll go out for a throw-in. So a little bit of travel for him. Some in warm-ups have been working on some finishing drills as well. But as for this Atlanta team we mentioned, a loss of penalty kicks in the first game to Atletico Paranaense.
No, you were at the first
Independiente de Valle out of Ecuador. A lot of youth soccer teams hanging out right now. They then went on to beat the Portland Timbers before falling in their final group stage game to Flamengo, 3-1.
And that Flamengo game, it was a good one. You know, they ended up losing, I believe it was 3-1. They got a penalty kick from George Bello. That was a quality game. Jackson Conway, who's not starting today, he's getting a little bit of rest, had a big chance, big opportunity to get it to 1-1 early in the first half. Wasn't able to finish, and I think that took a little bit of the wind out of their sails. They were expecting that, and they weren't able to get it with Flamengo, then going on to score a goal from midfield. One of the probably the best goals that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
And that kind of just ended the game and had their chances of, they needed to score 3 to get through to the semifinals, and it was just too much.
Yeah, Rodrigo, the center, one of the two forwards for Flamengo, who you'll see in the semifinals later today up at Toyota Stadium. And of course, on the Soccer YouTube page, he turned literally from midfield with the wind at his back. We have to say it's a heavy wind here. Normally in Frisco, Texas, it was that day here at the Toyota Soccer Center. But floated that ball right over Florio's head and into the back of the net to make it 2-0 towards the end of the first half. So it was a 3rd minute goal and 31st minute goal. But as you said, Atlanta playing some quality stuff, creating some good opportunities. Conway a few looks that he wasn't able to put away. But the flip side of the LA Galaxy was a perfect start. 1-0 over Pachuca. They've struggled since then. Their game versus Monaco in the second game, I think, was one of the more entertaining, one of the better games. It was a bad turnover here by Florio. Chance here for the Galaxy. And the first goal of the game, Blancas gets his second goal of the tournament, and the Galaxy are up 1-0.
Nah, you just don't want to see that from your goalkeeper trying to be too cute, out of the back. You know, Atlanta wants to try and build possession, that's their goal. But that was a bit too much on the goalkeeper. Saldano's able to get it, to strip the goalkeeper and get it to Blancas for a second goal. Blancas has actually been probably the most dangerous player in this tournament with the Galaxy. 2 goals, 2 to 3 goals, top chance creator, and he has the assist on Alvarez goal.
I think Alvarez is the most dangerous player.
Alvarez has played 2 games.
Yeah, but he played in that Monaco game, and it was end-to-end stuff. Really good, but every time LA Galaxy gave Monaco half a chance, they took advantage. It ended up being 4-1. Every team then in their group had a chance at the end, as that one goes right past Lopez's head, to get into the finals. All 4 teams were tied on 3 points. LA Galaxy faced off against FC Dallas. They went down 1-0 at the end of the first half. They then went man up early in the second half, and they conceded to lose 2-0.
That was one of the more shocking last 20-25 minutes of a game I've seen, especially at this tournament. Dallas goes up a goal. 2 minutes later, Benny Redzik shown the red card. But Dallas kind of dominated. They weren't really troubled at all the rest of the game. Being a man down, you saw Luchi Gonzalez change his formation multiple times, bringing his guys over. He was really able to well-organize them. But that day on Monday was pretty interesting because you had 2 games going on at the same time. The fields are right next to each other. Pachuca is playing Monaco. They go up a goal. Pachuca coach comes over with like 20 minutes left and keeps on asking about the score of the LA Dallas game because he knows if he wins, Dallas wins, he's through. If you're an MLS fan, you're mad at Monaco right now.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. You score 4 on the Galaxy, you can't. I saw them create a couple chances, but it just wasn't enough.
And you feel like maybe because they sold players for $300 million last year, maybe that they didn't care, which just feels selfish, you know. But Monaco, one of the big teams here, they'll play against Atlanta United in the next game. That one already predetermined due to results. LA Galaxy still a question mark of who their 5th matchup will be. But this is the reason for this tournament, a chance for these players to play against the best players in the world and in this country. So for LA to face Atlanta, very rare, and these are 2 of the strongest contenders, as we said, in the U.S. So fun to see them go up against each other.
And we have the LA Galaxy U12 team walk by us, yelling LA. Is that still their chant though? I don't know how's it gonna. What's it gonna be like on Saturday? It's gonna be
El Tráfico.
Oh wait, are we able to call it that?
I don't know. Well,
there's a lot of arguments going on.
There's no copyright
on it
anyway. As this one comes across the face, take it easily at that near post. Galaxy leading 1-0 still. El Tráfico, as we mentioned, coming on Saturday, the first ever time LA Galaxy and LAFC will face off against each other. LAFC, no team at this youth level here at Generation Adidas Cup. They do have a U12 team?
They did, and I was just watching them right before this game started. They were playing against Toronto FC, and then in the U12 game, they went up 2. They had some good players, some decent players out there. They were actually way bigger than Toronto players. It was kind of shocking to see. You'll see guys who are kids who are under 4'6" out there, 4'6", like doesn't weigh 80 pounds even. And LAFC would try out, a couple kids probably taller than me. But it was pretty interesting. They won a lot of headers.
Which in the U12 tournament doesn't always matter as much. It feels as tiny as this cross. Just passes. Yanaz, one of the big keys here, Ben, that's been talked about is player identification, how to judge players, how to judge what they'll grow into, figure things out. Look at these two teams right now, like Galaxy, have led in a lot of categories in terms of signing young players, pushing young players into the first team, especially the USL squad. Yanez here played 2 games in the USL last year. He's already played 31 games in the USL this year. And then Atlanta United. In their first year in MLS, they signed 7 players to homegrown deals, which you have to think is a good sign for the future of this league.
They're definitely the ones to look out for. Of course, we've heard a lot about Andrew Carlton not getting minutes with the first team. He's starting to make some substitute appearances with Ezekiel Barco out of the lineup for them at the moment. You definitely want to see that, but you want to see a lot of these guys get minutes at the USL level against men, especially guys like George Bello, who he definitely stands out in this tournament against kids, but you want to see him play against men, see how he fares, and then you can start talking about what his potential is on the first team level. Not potential, but what he can actually, how he can impact the game. Of course, they have Greg Garza at that position right now.
Yeah, George Bello, 15-year-old left back, signed to a professional contract, hurt his wrist in the first half of the opening game against Independiente de Valle. Wasn't able to play in the second half, came back and played the final 2 games. He was supposed to either start or be on the bench for Atlanta United 2, but he asked to be here. Ben, he asked to be a part of this team that he's been a part of for a number of years to come competition. Atlanta United front office, academy directors really like hearing that, and so they brought him here for this tournament.
Look, every team, this tournament is about competition and competing and showing that you're the best, showing that you're the best player in your position among MLS Academy players, showing that your team is the best, and seeing Bello think that is pretty good for this. It states the quality of this tournament and what the MLS teams actually think about this tournament, missing out on an opportunity to potentially, playing on the bench for the first USL team, or even getting the start. He wants to be here. He knows he's going to get minutes too, so that's a plus. But it's all about winning, and they were one game away from getting into the semifinals, playing against another special team in River Plate. So they were close to that.
These players, this is a great experience for them to play at the highest level at their age, to see what some of the best players do. A lot of great learning lessons for these teams. They go through qualifying over the course of the year, qualifying through 3 regions to get into this Champions Division. So Atlanta United winning the East in qualification, LA Galaxy coming in second in the West behind Sporting KC, ahead of the Portland Timbers. We're able to beat out Seattle Sounders for the last spot.
That was a tough group too, because you have Portland, you the Timbers, the Galaxy, Sounders who, I don't know what the scores are right now, but they're expected to win the River Division, at least be the team. They were the favorites coming in. That's the team that all the competition people were telling us. Yeah, but we don't know. Well, we thought that with that score, that Matsumoto Yamaga was going to be the worst team here. They come out. They play well in their second game. They get through. They only lose 2-0. They beat the Revolution 2 or 3-0, I believe, 3-1. And then today they were up the whole game. The Rapids come back and win 4-3 in dramatic fashion. I think Yamaga was up 3-2 with only a couple minutes left, and the Rapids got 2 very late. But yeah, so the Galaxy, I think, still the class of the West region at the youth level right now. But you got the Timbers, you got Seattle coming up, you got LAFC coming soon, a few years probably. And they're going to have some battles. And we've talked about a lot in the past year or so. The Galaxy signed all these homegrowns, but they don't play.
that's the question mark right now is that last step, that piece of you see the talent, you are able to develop them physically to be able to play at that first team level, but can they be difference makers or squad players in Major League Soccer? And last year the Galaxy, a lot of LA Galaxy 2 players moving into the MLS team, they struggled throughout the whole year, finishing last.
Well, they had a lot of injuries last year, so those guys were thrown into the gauntlet without really anybody to look to be like, to turn to, especially in the first half of the season, to turn to and say, help us out, help us get through this game. They were just all looking around each other, kind of flustered throughout the whole thing. And you don't want to see that. This is why you look at this game, you see who are the leaders out here right now, who's the one trying to urge his team on. So maybe at the pro level, you see that Cervantes is the guy that I look at for this team. That's the guy that I think he's a leader. I think he's a pretty good defensive midfielder. Has a shot to turn professional in a couple of years. But that's what you want to see.
Oscar Cervantes, USU 18, has started 18 games for this squad in USDA play was with the USU 18s last month in the Youth National Team Summit that was called together by Tab Ramos, putting together every Youth National Team between the end of February and the beginning of March.
So at that point, you walk around out here, around these fields. It's a huge complex out here with 12, 16 fields or so. You walk around and you see kids run into each other that play with each other at the youth national team. They have a conversation. We were here a couple nights ago during the last game of the day. It was Toronto River Plate. You see the NYC U17 team sitting right next to us. Gio Reyna sitting there. Benny Redzik from FC Dallas comes over, one highly thought up player. And they just strike up and they talk for about 15 minutes. They're catching up, and they live 2,000 miles away, but they see each other with the national team. So they catch up. This is kind of what you want to see too from players all across the country getting together and catching up at this huge tournament.
The U17s have a promising display at the U17 World Cup. The U20s as well, a good display at the last U20 World Cup. So those youth national teams showing some improvement. Of course, Timothy Weah, one of those players at the U17 World Cup, got his debut for the U.S. national team. Ben, I'm not going to put you on a hill. I have some huge debate over how many minutes he should play. But he did get to make his debut.
Was Timothy Weah in the top 5 players on that team?
At the U17 World Cup?
Yes.
So I think Josh Sargent was number 1. Most people can agree on that.
Yes.
I think Chris Gosselin was up there. And then Landon United.
Chris Gosselin at left back. James Sands was pretty good in that tournament. Durkin was pretty good in that. Yeah, I don't know. Weah just seemed like he had a lot of chances against players who were on a mound against him. Which, he did a good job of beating those players. But he seemed to get a lot of chances that a lot of other players might not get.
Scored a wonder goal, has now made his debut for PSG this season, as he's been in the PSG Academy. And his dad was Ballon d'Or winner at one point as well.
Also, the current president
of Liberia. His cousin also is the current starting right back. You could argue to say for the New York Red Bulls, Kyle Duncan.
His cousin?
Yes.
I did not know that.
No, you learn something new every day, Ben Bear. That's why you come to MLSsoccer.com for a little Generation Adidas Cup action, especially to hear Ben learn things, which we probably should have talked about beforehand, so you already knew them. Molina now gets to that in line.
I think Ben learning things would be a good day on these broadcasts.
It would be a very short one because
I know everything.
Yeah, your heavy-based knowledge. In general, Atlanta United trailing 1-0. 23 minutes played already here in the first half. Been a little curious with these young players how they come out. So you don't have some of the stars out there to guide these two teams. What have you seen from the two squads?
It's been choppy. I don't think either team's really been able to build anything in possession, really put their foot on the ball, build it out of the back. It's been pretty choppy. A lot of these players haven't played very much. Look at a guy like Paulos, number 49 for Galaxy. I believe he's only played 7 minutes in this tournament, number 55 for Atlanta. I don't think he's played very much in this tournament, and these guys essentially midfield the guys that you want to get on the ball and start spraying passes around. And they just haven't been able to do that. The guys up top, guys like 44 Matthews, he's played a lot, but he just hasn't had any chances so far. They just have. There's been very little build-up. Suzuki is a guy who expected to lead this team. Suzuki and Cervantes are the 2 demons. They've played a lot in this tournament. but I haven't seen much of them in this game so far.
Yeah, those two are the two that you expect to control the pace of play, control possession for their teams. Now, this tournament started last Friday. It was supposed to be games on Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday, but because of weather, almost every Tuesday game was moved up to Monday. So both these teams had to play 2 games within a span of less than 24 hours. That's part of the reason for this turnover. That's also part of the reason I think we've seen some heavy legs close out the group stage, and maybe from some of these guys like Suzuki and Cervantes, who have played almost every single minute, why they're starting this game maybe with already some tired looks and some tired legs.
So now the Gals coming on his left side. You see Nakamura. Nakamura's played right back this whole tournament, basically. I really liked him at right back. He's not playing much left back. Number 16 in this roster. He's been one of my favorite players left back. He really gets forward. So seeing him at center back, I think that's kind of like a waste of him as a player. Because he's really good at getting forward, being part of the attack, playing little 1-2s, getting the cross in. We've seen a lot from him. He has a lot of speed. And you see him at center back. Nakamura doesn't really want to get forward left because he's more comfortable getting forward right.
Sepulveda, who's the starting left center back for the LA Galaxy, USU 18 international, came up with an injury after the lineups came in an hour ago. So it was within the last 20-30 minutes. They decided not to risk it, and so they made that change to move Foster Hernandez in from left back and bring in Nakamura at left back.
Now you see Rios using his strength. Rios is a 0-2 or 3?
0-2. He's played at left center back most of his time in this tournament. Came in for George Campbell in the second half against Flamengo, now playing out at left back for this Atlanta team, missing a few of their key members from qualifying, and so they've also had to spread some numbers around between the Dallas Cup U19 team and this U17 team. Maybe not the performances that they'd expected here. It seems like they've started games slow, gotten behind, and then started to play quality soccer on the ground, find channels, create opportunities, and play entertaining soccer, but to get behind the games for them to reach that point.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Mangrove on the ball a little bit more. He's pretty high thought of. There's a pretty quality left foot from what we've seen so far. Here's Lopez with the touch, trying to get around the center back. Again, there's not a lot of help for him right there. But again, just want to see a little bit more in attack. We haven't seen many shots gotten off so far. I will note that we have dueling youth teams for both clubs out here. With Atlanta's Dallas Cup team sitting right next to us. They were trying to recreate the ATL chant before the game. They didn't really work out.
A lot of energy here at Field 4 at Toyota Stadium. 35-minute half, so we're into the final 8 or so minutes of this first half. The LA Galaxy getting the early lead. The mistake from Florio, slipping, giving up an opportunity, and allowing the LA Galaxy to score. Blancas getting the final touch, but really would have been tough for him to miss that one, his second goal of the tournament.
I think I could have scored them.
Yeah, probably better than that.
I mean, that big of a goal. I mean, we play on smaller goals.
Yeah.
So this goal, I think I could have scored that.
Yeah. Bear right there. I talked to Coach Kleiman before the game about motivation for this team, and he said the motivation in the group, everyone knows that they're fighting for a spot. So every minute they get and the opportunity they get to be out on the field, they know what they have to play for to try and earn more playing time in the future. For these players, yes, the group stage is over, but still a lot of motivation to play well and end this tournament strong.
Of course, you still have a couple months left of the DA season, so they're trying to get those minutes in the DA. Here we go, Yanez. Here's what we want to see.
Yanez trying to take 2 on. Robbins comes back, helps defensively. Now Banks, crunching tackle there by Nakamura. Comes away with possession. It's cleared up the field towards Lopez. Hernandez is able to get there first with the header. Now Molina coming back. Molina's played heavy minutes in this game as well. The young attacking player has 10 goals in USDA action for this LA Galaxy squad.
We've watched a lot of the games. We've seen Molina out here on the wing. For us, he's been one of the more frustrating players because you see those flashes. You see him being able to beat players one-on-one. He seems to be able to strike the ball pretty well. He can connect passes, but he's just not always locked into the game, and getting back defensively is not really his forte. He's left Nakamura out to dry a couple times in this tournament, including against Monaco.
Beautiful footwork from Saldana to open up that opportunity for LA Galaxy. It'll be a corner kick coming now for the Galaxy. LA Galaxy against Atlanta United here on day 4 action out at the Toyota Soccer Center. Semifinal action will be going on in the stadium. Carter Augustine and Bobby Warshaw have the coverage for you. Seattle versus Montreal, and then the New York Red Bulls against Monterrey. Corner kick coming now for LA. Right-footed service in swinging at the near post, and it's headed away by Lopez. And he has it off the back of Molina and out.
Of course, you had Blancas and Hernandez on the back post there, and just not able to get there. You're going for a near post. Nobody there. Molina's the only guy there. I don't really trust him to get that end of the ball right there.
Set pieces has been a huge part of this tournament, though.
But set pieces have been a problem because you have the win. Today, there's not so much. Also, it's going the opposite way of where it's gone the whole tournament. It's kind of confusing. But because you've been going with the win against the win, they really don't have enough time before the game to practice it. You can't really judge it, so it takes always 3 to 4 set pieces before a player can judge the win. And that, but that time, that was just bad. That was just bad corner. That's the only thing you can say.
Yeah, as Ben said, the win for the most part has been blowing in one direction, but today it's coming from behind that LA Galaxy goal, blowing right to left. Not as strong as we've seen.
It's very calm, and then you'll still have like a 10-mile-an-hour, 15-mile gust. That feels like what it was the other 3 days we've had matches here.
The LA Galaxy using that to their advantage, a 1-0 lead here, and their standard home white jerseys with the blue sash, and Atlanta United coming out in their red and black stripes, the 5 stripes. Just their second year of MLS play. This academy now has been around for 5 years under Tony Annan. An Englishman originally, but has been an Atlanta native for over 20 years, and getting a chance to put together this academy and immediately have success in bringing the best players in the region together, giving them an opportunity, a pathway to professional soccer, and being impressive both at the youth level in terms of results, but even more in the players that they've been able to develop.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always about results when you're looking at players that are young.
As they're putting the pressure on Florio.
As the pen goes flying. It's not always about results that young, but when they're that young. But when you get them, obviously you take them. There's been a lot of talk about how important is competition, and I think to a man, to a woman, every coach at this tournament wants more competition, wants higher level competition. But it means giving your players opportunities to play against high-quality players, high-quality teams, which is what this tournament's all about.
Yeah, we've heard talks from some of the best academies in the world. Monaco, who we mentioned, sold $300 million, giving a presentation to all the MLS youth, coaches, technical directors, as well as Pachuca, who in this region, and we'll see them in the semifinals later on, have produced multiple starters for the Mexico national team and sold them to Europe and other parts of Mexico, big clubs as well. And one of the keys that they've mentioned is results, but playing players, challenging players to develop them at the next level. It's not really in our DNA, Ben, to not care about results.
That's the weird thing is, me, you were out there, we care about winning, and the players obviously even more so. So to tell them results don't matter, that don't matter that much.
Chance here, cuts it on his right foot, and curls that shot. Stops on a dime, pushes that ball wide. Looked like Ben, he might curl it to the far post. Just couldn't find
a
fit.
I'm a bit surprised that he went near post. I don't know if that's what he was trying to do. But he hit the far post wide.
But you can see when you watch this LA Galaxy team, F1 and Alvarez, you can see the quality. Coach Annan with Atlanta United. What was your conversation at halftime? How do you want these kids to come out here in the second half?
I want to see more confidence. We saw very little confidence. We're seeing a lot of players who haven't played a lot. We talked about this. But we haven't seen much, confidence on the ball. I mean, I want to see more from Suzuki to lead this team, to start building possession. We see a sub here, number 16, Remy Smith.
Coming on from Mangrove.
Will help build that possession. I've liked him from what I've seen in this tournament. He's a player who can get on the ball, start spraying some passes, start building some possession for this team. And I'm a little disappointed in Mangrove's performance. We didn't see a lot from him. We heard a lot about him. He hasn't played much in this tournament. He's a 2002, so he's a bit younger than some of the better players out here. But we did not see much from him, and I'm excited to see Remy Smith now.
So that's the only change for Atlanta United. As Campbell there tries to fight, and finally the whistle goes. Blancas falling to the ground, and then Molina coming in late. So that's the only change here for Atlanta United. Francombe, Tony, Campbell, and Rios from right to left stay in along that back line. Takuma Suzuki, the captain, remains in at the holding midfield position. Now it'll be Remy Smith and Kijam Banks in the attacking midfield positions. And then the front three right now of Jordan Matthews, Diego Lopez, and Wassa Robbins. We didn't see a lot from any of those three. They were not able to get on the ball a whole lot and get some possession. We'll see how the second half goes. Atlanta United, the light wind at their back now going right to left. Man, in their 5-stripe jersey.
Rough challenge right there. You saw Cuevas' foot coming up a little high. Catches Rios on the shin. It appears he's a bit injured here.
For this LA Galaxy team, heavy changes from the teams they've played here throughout the tournament. Mauricio Cuevas, the youngest player on the team, getting the start at right back alongside Hernandez at right center back and Hernandez Foster at left center back, who slid in last minute due to the injury to Sepulveda. And then you bring in Togo Nakamura at left back. In the midfield, the holding mid, the captain Oscar Cervantes, Saldana and Paulos in front of him. Then right to left in the attack, all the way up front, Nestor Molina, Eduardo Blancas, and Uli Yanez, the US U20 international. Blancas, a goal against Pachuca in the first game of this tournament, and a goal here today.
And we are out here on Field 4 for this match, but going on in the stadium right now, Seattle, Montreal in the Premier Division semifinals. If you want to go over to that, Montreal just tied it up in the second half after seeing their star striker get a red card, Rubens Pashas. They just tied it up, so that's going to be an interesting final last 20 minutes here for Seattle, Montreal.
Good excitement there. We will have FC Dallas, NYCFC coming up after this one. Two of the best youth academy teams, NYCFC winning the Premier Division last year, bringing a very similar roster, including Gio Reyna and Joe Scally, to this tournament. And FC Dallas, a perennial powerhouse, just missing out on head-to-head, tying for first place in this group that LA Galaxy was in. Luchi Gonzalez, another impressive young core, including one of the youngest players in this tournament, Dante Seeley, son of former MLS goal scorer Scott Seeley, who will be, we expect, starting in this matchup.
MLS legend Scott Seeley.
Suzuki standing over this free kick. Now he takes it towards the far post. Too far for Campbell.
Do you think the wind took that? We just had a gust going right to left here on your screen. We just had a gust right as he kicked that. So that might have affected that one a little bit. He's clearly trying to get to the head of Campbell, biggest player in the field, guy you think can get the ball. Of course, Campbell sporting that bandage on his face after going up for a ball on the game on Monday and butting heads with a Flamengo player. And that's why he's out here with the bandage.
Yeah, his eye was bleeding on that one. They tried to get him back in. Ended up having to be off the field for a couple minutes and then finally subbed off after Atlanta had played man down. I mentioned in the first half the injury to George Bello in the first game. They played about 8 to 10 minutes of that game man down as well. while trying to figure out if Bello could continue.
Weird strategy for that one.
He then stayed in and then went out at halftime about 15 minutes later.
Yeah, that one didn't make a lot of sense. He was out for a very long time for Atlanta. Tony Nunn deciding not to make a sub, but then, of course, making the sub anyways. So he basically just played a man down for 5 to 7 minutes, I'd say, for no reason. And that, I mean, honestly, that game ended up being 0-0. There wasn't a lot in it, but who knows if they were even, they were playing even for those 5 to 7 minutes. Who knows if Atlanta would have scored that?
LA Galaxy looking to counter. Yanez now. Molina takes a touch off his head. He's got 3 defenders around him. He cuts in between. His left-footed shot is saved by Florio. Nestor Molina doing everything right. The first touch clean. He cuts between 2 defenders. Is able to get a touch before the goalkeeper can get there, and he just couldn't find the finish.
That's what we've seen from Molina all tournament. Flashes of brilliance. That was the ball from Yanez was a little behind him. He's able to get his head on, just get it to flick a little bit forward, beat a defender, which is with his left foot, which has been silky, I would say, this whole tournament, and just last minute block. But he can be special at times.
So Yanez out to take this corner kick alongside Hernandez Foster. The LA Galaxy U12s cheering them on from deep in that corner. Yanez takes it low, and it's defended away before Molina could touch it. Robbins now looking to start the counter. Remy Smith has it poked away from behind.
That's 2 corners now for Yanez that have not been good. Not what you want to see from your star player, your star winger.
Although interesting to see one of your best scorers taking those set pieces rather than being in the box. Molina put under pressure again. We saw him turn it over for the first goal. He's lucky to see this one bounce right back up into his hands.
You think Galaxy head coach Brian Clavin saw something in the tape that says maybe teams aren't pressuring Fleur enough? And here we go again. Yanez to Blancas.
Blancas taken down on the top of the box.
Galaxy pressure right now is putting a lot of heat on the Atlanta backline and midfield, something they really haven't had to deal with a lot in this tournament for some reason. Just thinking about it now, that teams really haven't been pressing them very highly. But clearly the Galaxy putting the pressure on is causing them a lot of issues right now.
So Blancas is back up. We'll see if there's a card coming for this one. This is a dangerous spot here, Ben. This is where you want to see Uli Yanez.
Yeah, this is where you want to see him get. He has a good opportunity here to get a goal, put his team up 2-0. This is where you want to see. You want to see a goal right here.
A chance for either a left foot or right foot, just off the side of the D. As you always discuss, it's tough to get it up over the wall from this position.
Yeah, you want it to be like 2 yards further out from here than it is right now. This is going to be a little bit tough. But, you know, this is where big players come up big in big games. Is that too much of a cliche?
Yeah, but I expect no less from you, or more. Hernandez Foster standing over this one.
That's about the meanest thing anyone's ever said to me. And here we go. We have a sub coming in on a free kick. Interesting.
So George Campbell, it looks like, is the one going off. And then in place of him, you would expect it would be center back for center back, so Kendall Edwards would be the one coming on.
Looks like Edwards to me.
Yeah, so Kendall Edwards, who's been starting at right center back alongside Campbell, and those two are swapping places. So a few players standing over this one. It is Yanez, and it's directly into the wall. Nat Neal McDonald, who came on as a substitute as well, clearing that ball.
McDonald has played almost every minute in this tournament for Atlanta.
Yeah, it looks like McDonald coming on in place of Rios. As now Edwards, right after coming in, gets hit off that shot. Nat Neal McDonald started at right wing back, or excuse me, winger in this tournament, but now has played fullback over the last 3 games. After the injury to Bello, moved, and then Coach Annan liked what he saw from him and his ability to attack from the defensive half of the field and bring a little bit more to this team. So it looks like Nat Neal McDonald at left back, Edwards now at center back alongside Tony, and Francombe remaining in at right back. As the Clouds roll over here to bring A little bit of shade to these players. 10 minutes played in the second half. Still the 1-0 lead from the first half goal for Blancas. LA Galaxy looking to move to 2-2 here at the GA Cup. Some other games going on around us. Toronto FC facing off against Sporting KC. Of course, the semifinals up at Toyota Stadium. A 2-1 lead now, I believe, Ben?
2-1. Marlon Vargas scores for Seattle. Great little through ball.
Marlon Vargas, who in my opinion has arguably been a player of the tournament.
You think he's going to get the golden ball? If Seattle wins the Premier Division, Gio Reyna got the golden ball last year for NYC.
Yep.
So Marlon Vargas has a shot there.
Yeah, you'd have to think so, unless Azriel Gonzalez or Ray Serrano keeps scoring, but someone on that Seattle team would. Seattle taking major steps under Mark Nichols, their academy director. Changed the way that young team plays and performs. They were heartbroken to not be in the Champions Division, but they've made good use of their time in the Premier Division. Get a second ball on the field over there on that far side. From what you've seen around the tournament, Ben, who's really stood out for you, not just from these two teams, but from everyone, or any specific thing that stood out to you?
For a player, I've we talk a lot about a lot of players on NYCFC. Obviously, there's bias there because I'm from New York. But
is there actual bias?
No, I mean I watch every team, as I tell people all the time, and that's true.
So why would you start?
People from Houston were coming up to me a couple days ago, and were asking if we talk about why do we talk about certain teams more? It's like we don't, because we talk about everybody equally.
I'm really glad you started with that, Ben. I appreciate it.
Philippe Mirkovic is my guy, defensive midfielder for NYC. He's actually probably the oldest player in this tournament, born January 1st, 2001. But he's been really impressive. I think
actually, by the way,
yes,
there's a December 31st, 2000 on DC United.
Yeah, well, his is kind of confusing because the original birthday I saw for him was 12/31/2000, but I've now seen January 1st, so maybe there's some fudging going on. I don't know, but he's been really impressive. He's pretty big for D-mid. He's very comfortable on the ball. You can play the ball to him in any situation. He's gonna keep it. He's been the most impressive player for me in terms of MLS sides at this tournament. I think the overarching thing that I've really noticed / disliked is we haven't seen many forwards from these MLS teams.
Yeah.
Forwards who are able to score goals, first of all, but really every single forward here, it seems like, is over-reliant on their teammates creating the chances for them and them just trying to finish it. We see with Blancos a little bit. He's not really like a dynamic type player up top. He's more of just kind of like a lumbering number 9 type. And that's really what we've seen for the majority of these MLS teams, including a guy like Jackson Conway for Atlanta, who's their top scorer, scored a hat-trick against Portland in this tournament, top scorer in DA. But he's really he's very reliant on service, and he can't really create anything by himself. He makes decent runs.
I would argue Jackson Conway's been the best of the true center forwards that we've seen.
Yeah, but that's not saying much.
But also, Ben, isn't that position kind of dying or changing in that way? You don't have to be a large target forward anymore. Teams play.
I'm not saying we haven't seen it from any forward. These teams, they do play that kind of player. Not saying that they should, but that's what these teams are doing, and we're not seeing much from those players. So, like, I was talking to Aleko Eskandarian, former U.S. player, former DC United player, now works for MLS, and we were talking about this, and he's like, yeah, the only guy that I would point out is Yanez for L.A. right now, and he's playing left wing. He's not playing up top. I'd like to see him play center forward for this team.
Molina in on racing again. McDonald trying to guide him out. Molina keeps the ball in but can't keep himself in, and Florio picks it up easily.
And Diego Lopez is a guy we've heard about a lot. Signed professional contracts. Have we said his name once today?
Yeah, it's been a very quiet performance as, of course, Diego Lopez
and then,
touches the ball
a beautiful little flick
immediately then. Banks chasing back to the goalkeeper's feet. You could say in this competition, Johan Gomez, who we might see with FC Dallas, has scored a couple goals and played some center forward for that team.
Another player for Dallas who everyone should be looking out for. I'm not sure he's going to play because he is an 0-1, and we've heard that Dallas is going to play a lot of 0-2s and 0-3s. in today's game, but 0-1, their left back. Here we go for LA.
Another chance here for Blancas. It's saved. And then the rebound is cleared away.
That again comes from a long ball over the top. Yanez with a beautiful little header, perfect weight on it to get Blancas that opportunity. But Julian Hinojosa, I believe, that's how you pronounce it, at left back, he's a special player. He scored 2 goals in this tournament. He hasn't scored really in DA or in GA Cup qualifying, but he scored 2 goals. Quality 1v1 defender and can get forward easily.
Yanez gets hacked down here. Oh, excuse me. I believe that means a dive has been called. So our first yellow card going to Uli Yanez.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It was tough to see with a player in front of us on that one. But if you're gonna call a player for a simulation, you got to get the yellow.
So Uli Yanez.
I mean, he's been special. He's clearly been the best player out here. You know, besides that dive.
Unimpressed by the referee there, immediately making that call right in front of him.
I mean, Remy Smith was immediately had his hands up like I didn't touch him. Of course, players lie about that all the time. But, yeah, Uli Yanez has been impressive. Clearly the best player in the field so far in this game.
For fans at home, Ben, for these teams, for some that don't get to see maybe their club play a lot, have you seen a connection between a lot of these academy teams and the way their first teams play? Have you seen similar style, similar attributes?
Some teams, yeah. I would say, again, I'm going to go back to NYC. That team plays possession. We see the first team play a little bit different these days, putting a little bit more pressure on. But NYC is the most comfortable team by far among MLS teams under pressure. I think Dallas is pretty close to how they play as a first team. They have some playmakers that like to get the ball in the wing, use their speed. Atlanta, I haven't really noticed the high press from Atlanta, and I haven't been able to watch the Red Bulls so far. So I haven't seen any much from them. But
the Red Bulls, I can tell you, and we'll see them in the semifinals as Lopez tries to fight his way in, maybe his best look of the game. And that one rolls away from him to Zuniga. The Red Bulls are playing a 5-man backline, and they are playing with those 2 wingbacks, similar to what the first team does.
Colorado has not played a 5-man backline like their first team. They've come out in a diamond or a 4-4-2, two forwards up top, including one in Logan Dorsey, who had a really impressive goal against Montreal. Nice little chip over the top of the goalkeeper. And he scored both goals to come back against Matsumoto today to get the win. So he's definitely a player of the tournament that people should be looking out for in the future.
Gilbert Fuentes, 2 goals for San Jose.
That was another guy that he's probably been the best player outside of Mirkovic that I've seen. He scored a beautiful goal again. He scored a beautiful goal off a half volley, mid-turn, in the first game that they played against Chicago, and then today scored a nice little curler, I'm going to say.
Yeah, 20 yards out, put it right in the corner like it was easy. He's already been signed to a professional contract playing for the San Jose U17s.
And he's been problem with evaluating how he's played so far is that you can look at the Quakes' qualifying run, which was really poor from them, and you can maybe say that maybe his teammates aren't of the highest quality, so he's asked to do a little too much, and maybe he's putting a little bit on himself. He's playing an attacking midfield position. I'm not sure that's going to be his position going forward. It's probably going to be more, as a box-to-box or a defensive midfielder. So you're seeing him at a position he's not really going to play at the professional level, but he's shown well. And same thing you could say about Jacob Akanarigi, their center back, 16 years old. He was also signed to a professional contract. He's been impressive, being able to use both feet, strong. He's one of the bigger players here, but his technical ability is up there, and I think that's why San Jose had no qualms about signing him to a professional contract.
One of the other big names playing at this competition, Sporting KC, Gianluca Busio, signed to a first-team contract already, currently playing over to our right against Toronto FC. Ben, what can you say for fans who haven't gotten to see him about what you've seen from that young player?
He clearly has quality. He not really sure what his position is going to be, especially at the professional level, because it's so hard to get in those attacking positions. I'm not sure he's a winger. He started the first game up top as a striker, which is something that we just talked about, maybe seeing different kinds of players playing up top, kind of more like a false 9. His first touch is really good. His technical ability is really good. I think he has the burst to be a good player as a professional. He's not an overly, over 40 yards, he's not going to beat you, I don't think. But at this level, he's definitely one of the most technical players out there, even you saw against Real Madrid the player. I think the coaches were impressed by his play in that game. The Real Madrid coaches, that is. So I think he's there. I think he needs to, grow a little bit more and see where he gets to when he's a full, grown adult. Because I don't think he has the physicality to play professional soccer right now. We'll probably see him with SPR though. That team has these couple of twins, and their last name is Rad, which is awesome. So 2 twins, the Rads. One plays center back, one plays D-mid. Both signed to Swope Park Rangers. I think they're going to get some minutes. They're pretty physical. I think they can handle the next level. And a guy like Ryan Fessler, center mid, he's pretty good. I like his touch. He's able to find his teammates pretty easily. He's also going to be playing with SPR this year.
So Eduardo Blancas' day will be done, but he did his job. The one goal to get us started, currently standing up as the winner for this LA Galaxy team, his second goal of the competition. And we'll see what this LA Galaxy team chooses to do. Yanez puts the cross in. Molino's not there. And they didn't even give a chance for Cameron Dunbar to get up the field off the substitution to make a difference.
Dunbar was out there. He might have been able to get on the end of that one.
LA Galaxy choosing to rush themselves into that one. We'll see who slides into that center position. Dunbar, though, an active early opening seconds on the field.
And I've liked what I've seen from Dunbar in previous games. I think he can beat players one-on-one. He's very technical. He's got the pace to beat players. I'm excited to see some more of him. And of course, that play he was able to almost pull off the 1-2. But Yanez over there gets that cross in with his left foot. That's something that you should be noticing if you're looking at youth players. Are they two-footed? That's not always important. You look at a guy like Arjen Robben, only uses his left foot. But I like to see the players who can use both feet.
Saldana battling in the box here. He's got support if he wants to use it. He finally goes back to Dunbar.
There you go. See a little bit of flair from Dunbar right there.
Dunbar goes inside, but McDonald's able to intercept the pass, headed for Cuevas. And now Cervantes gets the crowd going.
The U12s like that one, but they shouldn't be learning that at this age. There's gonna be no tricks.
Right now, LA Galaxy, good little spell of possession. But Ben, they have controlled this second half. They haven't dominated possession, but they've kept Atlanta toothless. They haven't been able to see Lopez get a lot of service up top, and Atlanta United now will finally make the change. So it looks like Jackson Conway will come on in place of Diego Lopez.
That's their fourth sub, and we didn't see much from Lopez. Not what you want to see from a player who has that kind of pedigree. But I'm excited to see some more of Conway, see if he can get on the ball. Atlanta haven't had the ball. They haven't created really any chances in this match. It's been all LA. Yanez kind of dominating out here, being the player who is the best player out here. He's been able to kind of control the match, especially in the second half.
Jackson Conway coming into this one, as Ben has said, he's had an active start to the tournament. He's had some really good runs, creating space for himself. Born in December of 2001, has worked hard in USDA play to earn that starting role. He and Lopez are now battling for. Just about 10 minutes left to play in this one. Atlanta United had to play down a goal for most of this game. They still haven't been able to find the breakthrough. Dangerous header back into the goalkeeper's hands by Hernandez Foster. Now a long ball towards Yanez.
That ball got kind of held up in the wind. There's a strong gust.
Yeah, the wind really starting to blow here from behind that Atlanta United goal across this field from right to left. David Goss and Ben Bear out here in Frisco, Texas for the fourth day of coverage at the Generation Adidas Cup. We've got, 4 more games coming up for everyone. 1 more here, 3 more at Toyota Stadium. So if you're at work or if you've got nothing else to do, lock yourself in and get ready. We say hello, of course, to Elliot Tomes for watching, and we appreciate him as we always do.
Shout out to Charlie Fiction.
These two teams falling in the group stage, but still a chance to play 2 more games. The LA Galaxy coming in 3rd place in their group. That one falls, fortunately, to the hands of Zuniga.
David Goss struggling with the cough right now. He's strong, though. He's strong.
Up the line here for the Galaxy. Cleared away by Tony. Ben, of these young guys that have come in here that haven't gotten a lot of minutes, has anyone stood out for you?
I've liked what I've seen from Cuevas at right back. I'm not sure he's able to string together passes yet, but he's shown the ability to beat a player who's rushing him, to beat him 1v1 and get into the midfield and cause some havoc. So I've liked what I've seen from him. Again, Molina, it's a guy we've seen the whole tournament do well. From a guy like, Palos or Banks or any of these other central midfield players that we've seen get their first shot, I haven't seen much from them, to be honest. I haven't been very impressed. I think LA Galaxy have relied upon their 2 experienced players on the wings, and now they're trying out what we kind of talked about. They're not really playing a center forward right now, with Molina nominally playing up there, but obviously he's not. That's not his natural position. It's a little bit more of a amoeba out there for them.
So Liam Butts, the final substitute for Coach Annan. Butts had started all 3 games in this tournament out there at that right midfield position, so he comes on for this second half in place of Robbins. Trying to find a goal right now is Atlanta United. LA Galaxy leading 1-0. Molina there making that run out of that false 9 position. All right, now for the LA Galaxy, a lot of flow to their game. We've seen Saldana play in there down the middle. We've seen Dunbar early in his appearance. A lot of freedom for him to float in from that right wing. And, of course, Yanez, a background both as a winger and as a center forward. Molina with the layoff.
Saldana we haven't talked about him really the whole tournament, but I think that's almost a good thing for a player like him. He's kind of just cerebral. He can link passes. He's kind of a linker between your defense and your forwards, and I think he's done a really good job of that today. He's done good pressing, and I think that's one guy that we don't talk about much, but I think he's been pretty good today and in their other 3 games.
Florio's been clean in possession here in the second half after making the mistake that led to the goal in the first half. As we enter the final 5 or so minutes of this one, LA Galaxy still leading 1-0 through a first half goal. Does Atlanta United have any more dangerous opportunities left for them to try and get this one tied?
Look, this is it. You got your experienced players out there now. You got Conway, you got Butts. These guys are the players that you rely on regularly. And after not creating much, we still how many shots on goal do they have? Do they have 1?
In this second half, they do have 1.
So they have 1 probably the entire game. And you probably want to see Banks a little bit. He seems to be the one who's going to get forward from the midfield. He has a little bit throughout this match. You want to see some more from him in that position. Get forward, because Smith is not going to do that. Suzuki's 100% not going to do that. He's posted up in front of the back line.
Then at what point do you panic and maybe start to throw numbers forward, start to play a little bit more direct?
I mean, you're looking at a game, in the grand scheme of things in terms of the result, doesn't really mean much. So the question is, if you're Tony Annan, how much does this result matter, or do you just want to see if you can keep with the same strategy you've tried throughout this game, throughout this tournament, and keep on doing what you're doing and see if that creates something, and maybe that's something that you build off going into your last game on Saturday, or you try and change it up, and throw some more stuff forward. They've made all 5 of their subs, so it's not going to come from a sub. It's not going to come from, one of their attacking players on the bench. So it's got to come from the players on the field. Maybe you want to push up McDonald a little bit more. He has that experience on the wing. He's a player who can get in behind, overlap. But, you do want to see the high pressure, and you're seeing it right now from Banks, Conway, Butts, and Matthews.
LA Galaxy coming out in this tournament with a 1-0 win in the opening game against the biggest academy in Mexico. in Pachuca. They followed that one up with an open, incredible game against Monaco, but they fell 4-1 in that one and then close out the group stage in an up-and-down game against FC Dallas, a 2-0 loss, currently leading 1-0 through the goal by Blancas. Blancas, the winner against Pachuca as well. So looking to repeat that scoreline once again. Atlanta United lost in penalty kicks in the first game. That game, like this one, if it ends in a tie, will go directly to PKs. 2 points for the winner, 1 point for the loser as Yanez stays on his feet, but now the foul will be called. Maybe no card here, Ben, because he played through it.
That was pretty great. Clearly a foul on Smith, who comes through the back of Yanez. Yanez just tries to get up, gets up super quick. That was about, you can go down and get back up. I don't think you don't see that happen very much. See it again with Yanez.
Cutting across and all the way through the box there. Dunbar not able to get on it, but Yanez starting to show more and more flashes here towards the end of this game. And you got to think as Atlanta pushes forward, looking for a goal, there's going to be openings for Yanez, Molino, and Dunbar to put this one away.
If Yanez had played the group stage matches for the Galaxy, I don't think they're playing here. I think they're playing in Toyota Stadium.
Cervantes coming forward. He gets to the end line, floats it over everyone, and outside of the reach there of Saldana, who can't close it down. Efrain Alvarez, we mentioned, he played the first 2 games of this tournament for LA, then he went to the group stage, and now on the flip side, Uli Yanez showing up, and he playing this one game, and then he will fly back to LA as he'll get a chance to play some USL action this weekend, a doubleheader with the LA Galaxy LAFC game.
What a life. Go from playing with the U.S. in France, was it, or in Spain?
In Spain against France.
Flying in, playing the GA Cup for a game against Atlanta United. And then you're going to go out to California and play a little game, a USL game with LA Galaxy too. It's pretty good.
It's a pretty cool opportunity for these young players. That's one of the big things you see in these academies, how different the life is. The Leko Eskandarians talked about that a lot, between their youth development and the current players now. This ball floated to the far post, taken in the end by Zuniga as we enter the final 2 minutes of regular time here, plus stoppage time. If Atlanta United can't find a goal, it'll be 3 points for the LA Galaxy. All these teams playing for standing still. That's how this will end up. We know the top 4 teams will come from the semifinals, but all these coaching staffs, especially NYCFC, told us, they mentioned to their players, you want to be the top MLS team in this competition. Whoever gets 5th place will be that number 1 MLS team.
Of course, any MLS team in the Champions Division, especially NYC and Dallas both have a shot to finish 5th place in their division. Of course, the Premier Division, you're going to see an MLS, possibly 2 MLS teams in the final. Seattle already there after beating Montreal 2-1. Rebels coming up at 4 Eastern, playing Monterrey.
This one rolls out for a corner kick. Maybe the final chance here for Atlanta United as we enter the final minute of play. Remy Smith to take. You see Tony and Edwards, the 2 center backs, coming forward. Jackson Conway size, Suzuki in the box as well.
Get Florio up there. Let's go.
It'll be Smith to take. He drills it in low at the near post, and it's headed away. Now the Galaxy trying to break out. Molino, he clears it up the field. A chance to chase now. Headed down by McDonald. Cervantes battling away as he has basically every minute of this GA Cup. And the call goes against Saldana here. And that, Ben, may be it for Atlanta United, although they'll have a set-piece chance to float this one in from midfield.
You saw the wind again play a factor in that one. That ball was played pretty well. I think if there's no wind, LA is able to run in that ball, go a little bit 3-on-1, and possibly get a goal. Holds up just enough. Dunbar isn't able to battle off McDonald to keep it. So that's how we ended up with Atlanta with a free kick over here.
So Suzuki to take what will be one of the final kicks of this game here as we enter stoppage time. Molina looking to push it back. A little bit of gamesmanship from him. And now Suzuki will back it up a few feet. The wind blowing heavy now from behind Suzuki, so it'll help this kick. As Atlanta's pushed some numbers forward. He switches the field for McDonald. McDonald now with the right-footed cross. All the way to Liam Butts, who heads it down. And it'll roll out. Not much in that play.
Not a great play from Butts there. He had time to take it off his chest, bring it down to his feet. That's what you want to see from him there, instead of just trying a weak header. I'm not even sure what he was trying to do there. He's trying to get it across and maybe try and play it back to his teammate.
Ben, final thoughts from you here, as it looks like LA Galaxy's going to come away this 1-goal win on their performance.
Willie Yanez, believe the hype. I think he's going to be. I think he's a special player. I think you're going to see him play with Los Dos this season, possibly get a professional contract soon. He's a player you need to be looking out for. A little disappointed in Atlanta, but they didn't play a lot of their top players for most of the match. They were not able to build anything going forward really at all. And now what you want to see, Molina again. I think the Galaxy have some players you should be looking out for. Cervantes is a lot better in the second half. Molina has those flashes, and of course Yanez. And they were a lot stronger at the back than what we've seen in their last 2 games in this tournament.
LA Galaxy here wasting out a last few seconds. Hernandez Foster, who slid into that center back role and helped keep that goal safe. It was the opening half goal from Blancas, his second of the tournament. Only the 3rd goal the LA Galaxy have scored here at the GA Cup. Right now, trying to hang on to it for a few more seconds and get away with a 1-goal win. Brian Kleiman on that LA Galaxy sideline giving out a last few orders. Try and get his team over the hump against Tony Annan's side in Atlanta United. 2 of the best academies in Major League Soccer. We've got NYCFC FC Dallas coming up for you in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. As Luchi Gonzalez's team will take on Rodrigo Marian's side, the NYCFC team with Gio Reyna and Joe Scally and so many good young players, and Ben's #1 player of the tournament in Mirkovic. And then on the flip side for FC Dallas, you've got some great attacking talent. What has been one of the best youth academies in the country over the last 5 to 10 years, setting records in Major League Soccer with their homegrown signings. In this tournament, always a good chance to see that next wave. We saw Paxton Pomykal, Jesus Ferreira, Weston McKinney of the U.S. national team, Reggie Cannon, all come through this Generation Adidas Cup for those FC Dallas teams.
In addition to Sealy for FC Dallas, another name to look out for, Ricardo Pepe comes in pretty highly rated. He's really only come off the bench so far, but I expect to see him up top. He's a big body up top, and I want to see some more from him in this game coming up.
Shot here from Banks, but the foul going against Jackson Conway before that. And that is all we've got here. So the LA Galaxy able to keep that opening goal and keep that clean sheet and make it stand up. Blancas with the winner, a 1-0 win for the Galaxy. They move to 6 points here at the Generation Adidas Cup. Atlanta United fall for a 2nd consecutive game here in Frisco. For myself, David Goss and Ben Bear, thank you so much for watching us. We'll be back with FC Dallas, NYCFC in just a few minutes, and you've still got 3 more semifinals from Toyota Stadium. Stick to MLSsoccer.com for all your 2018 GA Cup coverage.